you took an ass whooping because you're going to get called out in the locker room. You're going to get called out about not getting it done. Yeah, if you drop a pass, if you're not intercepting the ball, if you're not making tackles, you're not making blocks, guys calls you out. Because there was a certain standard that was set in the University of Miami. If you weren't getting it done, you got called out. If you didn't like it, you took an ass whooping. That's what it was. That's our locker
That's
room. Our
awesome.
coaches, listen, my 5 years University of Miami, I can't remember a coach coming in the locker room at all, at not one time, because we took care of each other. We knew that there was a high standard to be set at Miami, and if you weren't living up to that standard, you either took a beat down and got it right, or you got your ass up out there and went to another school, because that was not going to be tolerated at the school. And that's why we had so much success. We had so much success because people called out each other and held each other accountable for not in the game, but in practice. In the game, you better not mess up in the game. You better make that catch. You better get that interception. You better make that tackle. But that's how it was. My 5 years in Miami, hell, I was more scared of the players than I was of anybody else, because I was more terrified of letting the players down than anything else that the coaches could say to me. So, but that was the mentality of Miami when I was there.
Let me ask you: do you think that this is something that has gotten soft in college teams now, or in the NFL? Because it seems like, we just watched a Cincinnati game where people are getting crazy. Is this something, do you think they should do more of, or that we've lost a little bit of?
Well, here's the thing. There's a difference between what you saw Saturday against the Steelers and what we did in Miami. Now, as brutal as we could be doing practice, and as relentless as we could be on each other, the last thing you want to do was piss Coach Johnson off. Now, he wanted guys to celebrate. He wanted guys to have a good time. He knew the guys paid the price during the week to on Saturday, where you were going to go there and perform. But don't mess around and get a 15-yard penalty or doing something stupid. And that's one thing he did not tolerate. He did not tolerate stupidity. Now, he wanted you to be on the edge, but he wanted you to be controlled aggression. He wanted you to celebrate. He wanted you to high five. He wanted you to chest bump, do all that stuff like that. But nothing. He never wanted you to do anything that cost the team a chance to win. Now, what we saw Saturday was just, it was sad. Well, I can't say it was sad because I was rooting for the Steelers, but they were out of control, especially at the most pivotal point of the game. They lost control. And the Steelers, and all NFL players have done it. You poke the bear. You poke the bear a little bit. Listen, there's so much trash talk that goes on throughout the game, the 60 minutes. Your mama this, your lady that, your girlfriend this, your this and that. I mean, there's so much. Just get underneath a guy's skin and see if you can get a reaction out of it. Now, I'm sure there's trash talk on both sides. Both sides were trash talking because it's a divisional game, it's a rivalry game. They don't like each other, and that's good football. It was very entertaining all the way up until the end. But you got to question the coaching staff and Marvin Lewis. And they say with great power comes responsibility. To give those guys that kind of leadership role, the Burbick and Adam Pac-Man Jones, to see them just unravel within a minute of going to the next level, it's just uncalled for. The hit, unnecessary. Didn't have to hit. Did he fall away with three? He probably let up a little bit on the head. He probably could have done a lot more damage than he did, but the hit wasn't necessary. The ball was already gone. He could have easily not hit him. And then Adam Jones, Joey Porter, he knows. Listen, I saw the film. Joey didn't do anything but go out there. The Bengals guy were confrontational. Joey didn't say anything. He smiled because he wasn't intimidated by those guys. When you realize the guys ain't on your level, you can just smile at them. And that's what probably pissed him off more than anything. Is Joey didn't say anything, he just smiled at him. And Adam tried to, got fisticuffs, hits a rep, gets 15 more yards. Now, still is in position to win the game. Now you're going home, and all you got is the cussing, the fussing, and all the griping and the moaning. But all this could have been rectified if you just played with some discipline and some self-control, which they don't seem to have on that team. You want a team on the edge, because and a chip on your shoulder. When I was in Miami, that's all we did. We played on the edge with a chip on our shoulder for all the years I was there. But the last thing we ever did, we never put the team in a position where we want to lose the game because of doing something stupid. And that's what happened in Cincinnati. They just did something stupid and cost them the game, and now they're home, and they're going to be watching the Steelers move on to the playoffs.
In 1989, you were starting with players like Cortez Candy, Russell Maryland. Those two must have made you ready for the NFL alone. But on your way to a second national championship, was the partying still out of control at that point?
Well, in 1989 was my first year starting. I mean, our defense made our offense better easily. I mean, anytime I had to go against Russell Maryland, Cortez Kennedy, they whooped our ass many a times. There was many times where we had to pull Cortez Kennedy out of drill so we could run the ball. I mean, he was that disruptive. We couldn't block him. We literally could not block him. Our center and our guards could not block Cortez. We had to pull him out of the drills so we could move the ball. And Russell was just as deadly. He was just as deadly. He was quick. He was agile. He had great footwork. He was very physical with the ball. So every day, my sophomore year, we had to go up against the number one defense in the country. Every day we had to go up against these guys, and they tore in our ass every chance, every practice. I can't remember us winning but one. I can't remember us winning a drill. But we knew that if we went up against those guys every day in practice, what we saw on Sunday was not going to be as good. So we had a lot of success. We had a lot of success with a lot of teams on Saturdays because of the physicality of our practices during the week. And I tell Russell Maryland and Cortez Kennedy, to this day, I couldn't stand them. I could not stand them because they were good. They were brass. They were good. They were brass, and they talked crap all the time. And nothing you could really do about it. And that was my first. And I was very competitive, and I hated losing plays, drives, and all that kind of stuff. So I couldn't stand it. But it made me a better player having to go up against those guys every day in practice.
Matt? I'll go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Matt.
No, I got it. I appreciate that. So by this time, Dennis Erickson's the coach, Leon. How were things different? But, I mean, did they change or did they stay the same? How was that transitioning to the new coach?
Dennis Erickson, when Coach Johnson left and went to the Cowboys, Dennis Erickson, I mean, he had inherited a team that, just a year before he came in, lost 31-30 to Notre Dame, which essentially cost us our back-to-back national championship. So going into '89, we had lost a lot of key components on both sides of the ball, but we were very young and still had a lot of talent. And one thing I know about Miami when I was there is that we didn't rebuild, we reloaded. Most of the times the guys that were on the field, the guys that were behind you were just good. So when Erickson came in there, it was basically like, hey, look, come in here, don't screw it up. You got the talent. You got the defense that's rock solid. He came in with the one-back offense, 3-4 wide, spread you out, take the long shots down the field. And we had the components offensively, especially at the wide receiver position, to stretch the and we had the offensive line to protect him. Craig Erickson was a quarterback, and he was one of the strong. He had a great arm, strong arm quarterback, very mobile, very agile, could throw the long ball. So it fit right into what Erickson was all about. And that year, I mean, you go 11-1. Only game we lost was Florida State in 1989, and the reason why we lost that game because Gino Toretto was he was a freshman in the game because Craig Erickson got hurt. So you take a redshirt freshman in the Tallahassee, that's never good. But we still end up being 11-1 and winning the national championship despite all that.
Now, I'm going to set the stage here. It's your final year of college, 1991. You had another national championship, and then you were the top player drafted from that team, number 11 overall to the Pittsburgh Steelers. People like Gino Torretta, Warren Sapp, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson were on that team, but you were literally the big man on campus of a national championship team. You were the man. How did that feel? I'm sure life had to give you kind of an illusion at that point of like, this is going to last forever.
Well, you talking about going into my 1991 season, or you talking about me getting drafted by the Steelers?
No, sir. In 1991, when you were on that last college team, you were just basically. I'm going to set the picture here. I can only imagine what it was like to be at the University of Miami, national championship team, and being the star player on that national championship team. Literally, the whole college must have known who the heck you were. I mean, it must have been like literally walking on panties to go from one class to the next. How did that feel?
I don't know about walking on panties, but it felt good. There was no real, there was a short turnaround. I mean, I really didn't have much time to enjoy the fact that we had won a national championship because, now, I had to get ready for the draft. I got to train. I got to get myself ready for the draft. I had bowl games I had to plan. I had the combine coming up. You got to remember now, I still don't have no money. I'm still living off weekend money. I'm still in the dorms. I'm not driving luxury cars. I'm not in no penthouse or anything like that. I don't have any money except the little weekend money we get. And I'm projected first round pick, but hell, I'm still broke as hell. So I still had to stay on campus. I still had to focus in on the task at hand. I had agents coming out of the woodworks, promised me everything, this and that. And, now I can take full advantage of those things now because I'm not under, my eligibility is run out. So they wined me and dined me, and they took me here, they took me there. Agents taking you around South Beach is not a bad thing. So I was enjoying the perks of being a potential first-round draft pick. Of course, the ladies all of a sudden found me so attractive. And I may have taken advantage of that a little bit, being a little 21-year-old knucklehead. So, I may have taken a little bit advantage of that a little bit. So, hey, that just goes along with the territory. But and it's Miami.
Yeah.
Come on now, the honeys in Miami are just another breed, another level of women. So, and if you got a little spark, a little name to yourself, you take advantage of it. So, I did. Of course, I did. And no man in the world to sit there and say they wouldn't. So I did. But I had fun. It was my senior year. I had deserved a little downtime because I had put so much into my senior year. And going out like a national champion 12-0. With the ticker tape parade, the people knowing your name and all that kind of stuff, man, I earned that. That was those June and July when I ran that extra 110 or ran that extra lap around the field when I didn't have to. That was in the mid-heat when I kept the shoulder pads on and ran another gas. Or I stayed in the weight room and did that extra squat or did that extra bench press or did that hammer press or did that. So it was just a little extra things that kind of paid off. And I earned it. I earned that 12-0. I earned that third national championship. And this one was probably even as sweeter because I went out a champion. I came in a champion in 87, and I went out a champion in 91. So it don't get much better than that. And in the 5 years that I was at Miami, I only lost 4 games. So it doesn't get any better than that. So
wow,
yeah. So those were great times.
That is awesome. And you kind of alluded to this. Tell us, now you're transitioning to the NFL. All of a sudden, now you're not broke. The dump truck's pulling up and dropping money off at your house, and fame might feel a little less being a rookie, but you weren't really the only rookie on that team. Bill Cowher's just getting started as head coach. What was that like going to that team at that point? Did you get initiated as a rookie? Were they hazing you? How was that initiation into the NFL?
Well, for me, it was pretty brutal, to be quite honest with you, because I held out to the last week of training camp. Pittsburgh at that time was notorious for not playing their players, and especially rookies, especially the amount of money I was asking for coming out my rookie year. I essentially, once I signed with the Steelers, I was the highest paid lineman on the team without even playing it down. And trust me, the veterans knew it. When I walked in that locker room, finally signed with 1 week of training camp left, they were hard on me. They were hard but fair. And, they made me do things like carry their tray and carry their luggage and, get up and sing in the cafeteria. And you got, it was a bit humbling for me because you go from the University of Miami where you're the man until you go to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they got